Well, hello, this is Karin Zoe Lee, and you're listening to Lotus Moon Productions. Welcome to the Wrastlin Wrantz Project. Whatever the promotion, we're here to learn and discuss. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the next 45 minutes of wrestling discussion with your host, Shugo Hanasaki.
Wrastlin Wrantz is back to smash another episode, and how could I not? While we haven't been able to put out many podcasts that focus on good old wrestling, there's been some insane news over the last week. If you haven't heard, and I'm sure most people have heard by now, Vincent Kennedy McMahon has officially retired from WWE. There's been a lot surrounding this over the past couple of months, from women walking out to serious allegations to possible law enforcement getting involved. But the juggernaut that is WWE keeps on going, with now Triple H, aka Paul Levesque, head of creative. Expect us to talk all about that today, as well as ROH's Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view. That was absolutely amazing in my mind. Every person on that pay-per-view should be proud, especially FTR and the Briscoes. What a freaking match, guys. But we'll get more into that as well in this episode as we go on. Despite SummerSlam approaching this weekend, we may have time to do quick fire predictions at the end. But if we don't, we don't. Today we're focusing on the retirement of Vince McMahon and the aftermath of Ring of Honor's pay-per-view. And to help me with that is my dude Conrad from Everything Pro Wrestling. How's it going today, man?
What is going on, man? Crazy week of pro wrestling, right?
Yeah, crazy doesn't even sound like the word. Like, I thought to myself, I was like, man, last time I had Conrad on there was only a couple episodes ago, but the next time I thought I'd speak to him was not when Vince McMahon was retiring.
Oh, no. I feel like I never believed that day would really come. Like, we've all imagined it happening, but it never really happened.
It comes off so cynical. It's like, we all imagined it. Yeah, it was going to happen one of these days. No, like I knew it was going to happen at some point. Like, we all knew. It's like, he's older than us, but he was going to die with the ship. You know what I mean? Like, even though he's, almost 77 years old, we figured that he'd be writing writing the scripts for WWE, and even in a hospital bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just thought he was never going to give it up.
Yeah, like he'd be like, just to somehow he would learn how to immortalize himself, and he would just be, still writing WWE like 200, 300 years from now. We'd all be dead, and he'd still be writing for it. In his will. Like, in his will, when he passes away, he has like all these creative plans. Oh
my goodness, yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me, honestly. Like, if somehow in this will, like in like 20 years time or whenever he passes away, there's this like, in his will, there's all these creative plans on where he wants WWE to go, and they have to respect it because it's his will.
Oh my goodness. And he still owns majority shares.
He does. But I mean, things have gotten really, really crazy, and we're definitely going to talk about that in probably about 20, 30 minutes or so. But I want to talk about Ring of Honor with you, Conrad, just because, the Briscoes and FTR smashed it. I know how much you like the Briscoes, and we've talked about the Briscoes in the past. And the last time I saw them wrestle, I saw them wrestle on Impact a little bit over the last little while, but the thing that stuck with me the most was when they were at the Supercard of Honor against FTR the first time around. And I thought that match was amazing. I thought that was crazy. But then they went into this best 2 to 3 falls thing. It went about, I think, 46 minutes, was it?
Yeah, that sounds about right for the time frame.
Yeah, and I mean, the story that they told in the ring, and also the story that they told even in, like, they didn't get enough, as two different people, like, even though Tony Khan owns AEW and Ring of Honor, you didn't see the Briscoes come out on AEW television and confront FTR. You didn't see all this stuff. You saw video packages and stuff like that, but you didn't really see a big build-up, but they made it feel big despite not appearing so much on television. So it was just mind-blowing. And the fact that it was the main event, what a main event it was. And but I want to shout out some matches on that card where like Mercedes Martinez and Serena Deeb, for example, pardon me. I think they killed it. I was hoping Serena Deeb was going to win. Honestly, I was, because that woman can wrestle. She has chemistry with everyone, in my opinion, and I really want some championship gold on her soon. I believe she's a former NWA women's champion. But I feel that her time of becoming Ring of Honor, TBS, AEW Women's Champion, or, you know, maybe when Stardom crosses over with AEW, if it ever happens, there's just gold waiting there for her because she's incredibly talented. And despite the shortness of the match and some of the controversy behind it because of Jonathan Gresham being fired or asking for his release or supposedly cursing out Tony Khan, he is no longer part of Ring of Honor, and he dropped the title to Claudio or Cesaro, to people who know him in WWE. But at the same time, from my point of view, before all the stuff came out about Jonathan Gresham leaving, I actually thought that Claudio was going to win the championship, but not at Death Before Dishonor. I thought they might have dragged this out just like a month or so, or maybe 2 months into like a new program once Ring of Honor gets on TV. I knew that Claudio was definitely going to become a champion soon, because he hadn't had any world titles, and the fact that he was in WWE for over a decade without a single world title is beyond me. The guy literally busted his ass and his teeth.
Fact.
Like, I mean, and his strength is unimaginable, and seeing him just out there within the last 3 or 4 months getting the Ring of Honor World Championship, the crowd was so happy. They wanted him to win it, and, you know, I couldn't believe it. Like, I voted for Jonathan Gresham to win, like I said, just because I thought they were going to continue it out, and in the end, you know, Claudio was going to win. But they gave it to him right then and there, I guess, because of everything that happened with Jonathan Gresham. What's your opinion on the Jonathan Gresham stuff?
All right, I'm probably being the minority on this one because I saw a lot of people like take Jonathan Gresham's side with this. And I'm just gonna say it, man. Like, when he came out, I knew he was losing. I knew it. I mean, going in, he wasn't my prediction anyway. But you could have sold me a little bit if he would have came out no flag, no octopus mask, no pizzazz in the entrance even.
That's true.
He came out with what they call the boo-boo face. He came out looking sad. Like, you already know I'm about to lose. I'm just going to go through the motions. I'm still going to try hard because that's how I train. But in my opinion, I think Jonathan Gresham is wrong in this situation for at least everything he said in these interviews leading up to it. Could communication be better in AEW? I don't know. This is probably the 3rd or 4th time I've heard that from somebody. So, yeah, Tony Khan could probably tighten up on communication. Joey Janela said he never had a problem speaking to Tony Khan. Who do you believe? I don't know. I'm not back there for it. But my concern, though, is the behavior that happened here. The rumors, according to the website, so this may have not even happened, but we're going to base it off of that.
Allegedly,
if what we believe is true, he had an interview with a podcast. He said he never spoke to Tony Khan. Okay, you've never, or then it turned into he spoke to him, but only in like short periods of time, like just for a few seconds. Okay, fine. Tony's a busy guy. Tony couldn't give everyone on his roster 30 minutes because there wouldn't be enough time in the day. Just think about that for a second.
Oh, absolutely.
So, whatever. You go through the motions and you're doing your thing. Then you get to Ring of Honor and you go backstage and meet Tony Khan and you cuss him out, but you haven't really spoken to him. How did you think that was going to end? Like, I don't understand the thought process here. I feel like there was something more behind it. And to all of those people who were like, well, he carried Ring of Honor towards the end. He did. And I respect Gresham for doing that. He's a good wrestler. Absolutely. I'm not taking anything away from his wrestling ability. But what I'm trying to say is you cannot do that stuff that he's trying to do and think you're going to be successful. It's just not going to work. I don't know if he had a chip on his shoulder because he came from the previous Ring of Honor regime and thought, well, I carried that banner and I told the story over there. I'm sorry, but that story's over. Tony Khan is trying to do something completely different with this now. He is trying to take it somewhere else. Now, maybe he didn't like his creative. Was the creative a little bit what happened? Who knows what Tully Blanchard did? I don't know why Tully didn't show up, really. Supposedly it was for some ministry thing that he does, and he missed his flight. And then Tony was like, yeah, we can't have this. I'm done. Okay, that's fine. But in my opinion, Jonathan Gresham, the overall story is he could have done better. To go and delete the Terminus Pro account and delete his account, I don't know what's going on. But
Yeah.
I just thought it looked bad. It's a bad look for him, in my opinion, for this one.
You know what though? I agree with you, and I'm going to side a little bit more into that too. In agreement with you, is that it certainly is a bad look. And again, I don't know what goes on backstage. We don't know what goes on backstage. You know, like this one conversation can be reported, and then all of a sudden we have one person's side. But then, like, you know, it's context, right? And if certain conversations are left out of the picture, we only have so many opinions to form, and then, just like you said, like, you know, Jonathan Gresham is a hell of a wrestler. You know, he's fantastic wrestler. I didn't even know really who he was until over the last couple of years, and I was like, who's this dude? I mean, I was ignorant to Jonathan Gresham's career, and then I got to see a lot of it, and I was like, oh yeah, this guy's pretty good, you know. And but in my opinion, at the same time, again, I don't know why he walked out. We still have a lot of questions, and allegedly this and allegedly that. And I'm gonna say this allegedly, but on some level, I feel that maybe he was upset that he was dropping his world championship because he did do so much throughout the pandemic years to Claudio, who has never had a world title. So maybe he saw him beneath him. And then again, I could be wrung. And maybe that's why he had that boo-boo face kind of thing on when he came out, and he was all upset that he had to drop the title to Claudio. But if I would hope that Jonathan Gresham has more respect than that. And at the same time, if I was in Jonathan Gresham's shoes and I knew who Claudio was, and he just came out of WWE and he had never had a world title, man, I would have had no problem dropping that belt to Claudio. I mean that. Like, I legit mean that. Like, I know it's easier said than done when you're not the wrestler, when you're not in the situation. But
Claudio also had history in Ring of Honor, so you can't say it wasn't no story there. There's a story there for him.
Yeah, exactly, that too. Yeah, I was going to mention the history there just briefly, but yeah, there's history there for Ring of Honor, and for him coming back, and after all of these years, the man deserves at least one world title. Claudio should be a multi-time world champion by now. And why WWE never saw that it will lead into the Vince McMahon stuff, I guess, soon. Because, I mean, I guess it was Vince McMahon that didn't see it. But, I mean, even the bar. Like, I don't know what's going on with the whole Fight Club crap with Sheamus and Holland and Pete Dunne. And, yes, I'll say Pete Dunne because to hell with Butch. I really just don't care for the character. I think it's crap, and if people like it, more power to you. You win. But I liked the bar really much so. I thought they had something there. You know, Sheamus and Cesaro had some good matches, like some really good matches there, and they were tag team champions. But that's all Cesaro ever was. He was always a tag team champion with some other person, or I think he was United States champion or Intercontinental champion, but that's all he was that mid-card tag team guy. And I was like, you've got this guy with unbelievable strength. The crowd loves him, and you've had him for over a decade. You've had him for over 10 years, and he doesn't have a world title to his name. And yet but then you scramble and you go, oh my God, we have nobody for a main event. Oh my God, we have no more stars that we haven't built up. Yeah, it's because he's been sitting there doing other shit.
I think it's a crime that he never got to main event against Brock Lesnar. Like, he never got I'm not saying he had to be the champion.
Right.
I can understand why in the world of WWE he wasn't the champion, the promo, whatever. You know how they are. Like, I'm just putting the players in their place and thinking like them.
He did go against Roman Reigns though. So
you weren't going to do it, but you could have at least put him in bigger and better matches.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, but it's the problem with WWE when it comes to, like, growing their stars. It's like they always go back to the well of part-timers, you know? And it's just like, you could have had Cesaro on the highest pedestal. Like, he could have been up there with your Seth Rollins and your Roman Reigns, and, I mean, when Dean Ambrose was there, you know, when, you know, all that stuff. Like, he can be up there with those stars, but he wasn't. And I don't understand, because the man literally busted his face. Like, after that, and then finished the match. Like, there was no complaining from him. He didn't stop the match. He kept going. You know, I remember when he busted his teeth out on that. Oh my God, it was just brutal.
Yeah,
you know?
I just remember feeling pain watching it. Like,
Yeah, and then we saw the pictures afterwards, and I was just like, God damn! It's like even Finn Balor. It's like Finn Balor's been Universal Champion, he's been NXT Champion. Okay, we're not really sure what to do with Cesaro and Creative. Send him down to NXT, have him rule over NXT for a while. Samoa Joe had the NXT title, Shinsuke had the NXT title. Although Shinsuke Nakamura I don't think has had the world title either, but that's a different conversation for a different day. But I think on some level, and again, allegedly, like I don't want to feel that Jonathan Gresham is cynical because I have no idea who the guy is in real life. I don't want to sit here and speculate negative things about him. I'm just going by wrestling only. But I think if someone is upset that he got the title, he finally got a world title after like over a decade, I would be happy to drop it to him, in my opinion. I don't know about you, but that would be me.
I feel like maybe he had an issue with not being given more time on television too, but Tony is doing his best. Like, he owns 2 companies. He's trying to get another deal. Like, I think Tony Khan's doing too much personally. I think he needs to back off and let someone else help him. Like, filter through Tony, but say like, listen, I want you to run it though. Can you help me? He needs to find someone who can do that for him, just because I think it's going to be a lot for Tony to take all this on, help with the Jaguars, and help with the football team across the pond. Like, it's a lot to take on. And I'm going to bring up this last point about Tony, then I can get off of my soapbox.
Sure.
If he didn't like Jonathan Gresham so much, he could have had Claudio go out there, and I'm going to use the term dog walk him. And I mean that in the sense of European uppercut, throw you up in the air European uppercut, neutralizer or Rico LaBomb, 1, 2, 3, see ya, have a good day.
Job mode.
He could have did that, but he didn't do that to him. He said, no, you guys can have 11 minutes. I know it's not long, and why are we the opener? The opener is actually a really good spot to be in. I felt Deeb and Mercedes Martinez got put into a really bad spot. They had to go after Roosh and Dragon Lee, blew up the crowd, and then they were down.
Yeah, Roosh and Dragon Lee, Jesus. I actually had no idea they were brothers because I don't know much of Ring of Honor's history, right? I know a lot of wrestlers that came from there and where they are now, like Tyler Black, for example, and, Bryan Danielson and going, all, et cetera. We could be here all day. There's so many people who have come out of Ring of Honor, like Samoa Joe again, but, and also CM Punk. But, yeah, Dragon Lee and Roosh, I had no idea they were brothers. Legit, no idea. But when I heard that there was a brother versus brother, and one had, 2 TV world titles, and the other had 2 world titles, it was just like a Ring of Honor. I was just like, oh, these guys are kind of even, and they're both brothers. And I walked, and that was a hell of a match, man. Dragon Lee versus Roosh. That was the other one I was going to throw out there too.
I love that they let Roosh show enough character to fake the injury, like he was dazed and confused, and then he used that to beat it. Like, it just showed like he's the conniving one, he's the bad guy.
Yeah, it also gave him more of a character on AEW for people who watch Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to him and Andrade versus the Lucha Bros. I think that match will rule ass, if I can say it. Like, once it's time for it to happen, like they're gonna just go in there and smoke it. Yeah.
I mean, and also I would love Andrade, by the way, to be some sort of world champion in AEW, whether it be the new AAA title or whether it be the All Atlantic title kind of thing. Whether it be the All Atlantic, whether it be the TNT, whether it be the world champion, I would love to see Andrade have singles gold. But at the same time, I would love Andrade and Roosh to go for tag team gold.
Yeah, I wouldn't even mind. Call me crazy. Why not have a trio of Andrade, Roosh, and Dragon Lee?
There you go. Yeah, I completely agree. It works. It works. And then they have and Andrade is a great wrestler. Dragon Lee is a great wrestler. Roosh is a great wrestler. You have it all there. It's just sitting there, right? So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Tony Khan does at Ring of Honor, because I've been speculating this now for a couple of months, and I've been telling people, not in the podcast because there hasn't been many podcasts out. But I feel that Tony Khan is definitely going to have a Ring of Honor TV show, like AEW Dynamite or something like that, and it's going to be on its own day, and they're going to have pay-per-views just like AEW does, but it's going to have a slower start. It's not going to have as much audience retention as AEW or something like Raw or SmackDown, but it's going to grow. And the fact that I think Tony Khan mentioned it in the media scrum, I watched the entire media scrum afterwards, and it did 25,000 buys or something like that, which comes in like fourth for all of Ring of Honor history.
That was just digital. He still didn't know the like actual pay-per-view buys.
Yeah. So the fact that it did that damn good in history, and Ring of Honor's been around since what, 2003, 4, or 5? 2002. Yeah, pardon me. So yeah, so it's been around since 2002. So in the past 2 decades, this event came in 4th place, roughly. In the top 4, and again, he didn't even know those other buys. So the fact that it did that well is incredible. It just goes to show how good of the booking is. And I know people might be listening there and going, oh, you're kissing Tony Khan's ass. I was like, well, listen, I sat back, I turned on Ring of Honor, I had a great time. I wasn't bored. Dalton Castle and the boys winning the titles, that entertained the hell out of me. That Dalton Castle is something special.
I knew they were winning as soon as I thought about the last time he was on AEW TV for that Battle of the Belts. I knew. I was like, the way he owned his entrance, he was too good. And I feel bad for the boys, the Tate brothers, because I know they're trying to break away from this gimmick, but they're so good at it that it's like, dude, you just got to stay with this. Like, don't need you. It's just a great act as a team all the way together. And I would love for him to like try to upgrade the boys. And you know what I mean? Like, okay, you guys will come over here with me, but you're going to be a prominent tag team now, but you're still with me, and pull off maybe some trios over there. But absolutely fantastic show overall. I kind of wanted to ask you a question. I know this is your podcast.
Oh, no. Ask as many questions as you'd like.
I want to see if you could do some armchair booking or what you think of this. So Tony Khan in the media scrum said that Ring of Honor is not going to be a developmental brand. So that seems like it's off the table. What do you want to see the rosters be exclusive? Because he's already said he's not going to have like championships to where they can go back and forth on both shows, which I thought the trios titles would have been perfect for that.
So you're asking me if like Ring of Honor is going to be its own thing, right?
I'm asking you, should Ring of Honor be exclusive? Where if you're in ROH, you're just in ROH, and if you're in AEW, you're just in AEW.
Honestly, I think yes. I think they should, and I think they should come together at times, like Ring of Honor Supercard with New Japan, or AEW with Ring of Honor, or Ring of Honor with Impact, or do whatever you want, and then also have your own pay-per-views. But you gotta stand out, and that's the most important thing. You have to make it on your own. And now that Ring of Honor's been making it itself on its own, but now that it's bought by Tony Khan, there's a new roster, there's new people coming in, there's new changes being made. It's got to be able to stand on its own before it can work with other people.
Yeah, and I think you're still in those early stages. I just wonder, because you have so many big groups like Blackpool Combat Club, you're going to probably take, I'm guessing, Claudio and Yuta away from there. So
I think the whole club's probably going to go. I think Moxley's going to lose the championship, and I think Moxley will probably go to Ring of Honor.
Really? I don't see that. I just can't see certain people leaving AEW.
Well, that's just it. You have to think of the draw factor. Because Ring of Honor is going to be having, yes, they already have stars from Ring of Honor that are a draw, but they're going to have to probably take a few people from AEW and put them into Ring of Honor for 6 months, kind of like what WWE does to NXT. They take some people, throw them down to NXT to make NXT more of a, quote unquote draw sometimes, like with Finn Balor, in the past, or Mandy Rose or something like that. I think, if you threw Moxley down there with the BC, or, the Blackpool Combat Club, and William Regal, I think having William Regal, Bryan Danielson, John Moxley, and Wheeler Yuta, and Claudio all down there, I think that would be amazing. And then, hell, I would throw FTR over there as well. I mean, apparently, supposedly, rumors, there's a story coming up with the Young Bucks and FTR that they want to save for All Out that I've heard. But
I don't see it anymore, though. Ever since they lost the belts, sorry, did I just spoil something for you?
No, it's fine. No, it's
okay.
Fine. I was just saying that I just see FTR being, again, they're a huge draw right now. Like, essentially, we'll walk around with 3 different promotional belts, and everybody's loving FTR, and including myself. And I think, and of course you have the Briscoes there and the tag team division, and again, some of the tag teams that don't get a lot of love in AEW could just go over to Ring of Honor. But I think what I mean by that is also the quote unquote developmental territory we've seen a lot of developmental or a lot of matches on AEW Dark with Ring of Honor talent, and I think that will continue. I think AEW Dark is just going to be the developmental talent for both AEW and Ring of Honor. But Ring of Honor itself as a solid show, I think should be exclusive, at least for now. And I think we are going to see a handful of wrestlers go from AEW to Ring of Honor just for that draw factor.
Interesting. I just wanted to hear your thoughts on this. That was really cool.
Yeah, no problem. I mean it's a good question, and I look at it like, like the Best Friends. They definitely seem like an AEW tag team, but
that's what I was trying to do. Like, I kind of fantasy book it in my head, because so I looked at like Private Party, Butcher and the Blade. Shout out to Butcher and Blade from my hometown.
Yeah.
Gotta show them some love. I wonder, I'm like, so listen, you could probably take one of these teams, but one of these teams is going to have to stay on Dynamite to, I'm sorry to say it, but eat some pinfalls, put some other teams over to get them some wins at the same time. Dynamite's going to have 3 hours of television to produce, or AEW, with Elevation too. So they got a lot of stuff and time to produce. Yep. You have Ring of Honor over here. Who do you want to put over more? I feel like I would take Private Party and put them in Ring of Honor, so that they can get some more time in the ring and do some stuff. I also like the idea of separating the Young Bucks and FTR, because to me, those are your top two tag teams.
Yeah.
And right now, in the beginning, I'll say it, the Young Bucks were owning it, but I think FTR have come up and swooped underneath them, and they have taken all of the shine off of them. And they're like, no, we're the best tag team. You're not stopping us. And I need that Ultimo Dragon picture with them with all the belts. I need it. It's got to happen. So they better not lose anything.
Yeah, and I mean, at the same time, I could see Ring of Honor getting AEW taking Dante Martin and Lee Moriarty and sticking them over in Ring of Honor and making them both shine, because Dante Martin and Moriarty, they're gonna shine. They're already shining now, but the things that those two kids can do. And Dante Martin, put a rock on his back and let him fly, and have him one of your big, your big draws in Ring of Honor, because I know he'll bring it. Because
and his brother's coming back still too.
Right. So I mean, put Top Flight in Ring of Honor.
And I got to give a shout out to my guy Rated, who did their theme for them. Anytime you hear it, shout out to him.
Sweet, man. Yeah, absolutely. But it's that's another two people that I would throw into Ring of Honor. Is I would take the.
We could spend all day fantasy.
Yeah, we could. We could. I mean, I've already thought about women too. Like, I've already thought about a good section of women that could go from AEW easily into the Ring of Honor product, right? So, and again, but this is also another promotion now where we have women wrestling as well. So, and I really enjoyed Willow Nightingale's match as well against, was it Allison? What was her last name? Allison Kay?
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know who she was, but I thought they were really good, and I never knew who Willow was up until a few months ago.
I am on Twitter, and I'm like, Tony Khan, please sign Willow. Like, we need Willow. She's just. Well, she's an adorable wrestler. Like, I'm like, oh, kids would love her. Like, she's great. Somebody sign her.
Oh, that's the shit. She signed a Ring of Honor, and that's where I think she should stay. I think she should be one of the pillars, one of the big people of Ring of Honor in the women's division.
I think she's the person you build up eventually to become champion.
Absolutely, for sure. But I mean, like, in Ring of Honor, right? So I mean, we'll see what happens. But yeah, we could sit here all day and and book Ring of Honor in the future of it. But yeah, it's a good question, and I'm glad you asked it, because I mean, I've been talking to my partners. I've been talking my partner's ear off about it. So, it's good to talk to somebody else about it for once. But the main event. Let's just dive into that briefly before we dive into the Vince McMahon stuff, because we only have so much time. But FTR versus the Briscoes. I mean, it doesn't matter if you liked part 1 or part 2 more than the other. It doesn't really matter, in my opinion, because both rocked. And in my opinion, the best 2 to 3 falls, I think that was the best one. But the first one I saw at the Supercard of Honor was absolutely amazing. And then when I was watching Ring of Honor on Saturday, I was on the edge of my. I was sitting back. In the first 15-20 minutes, I was just sitting back. And I was like, yeah, this is a really good match. I'm really enjoying this main event. Yeah, this is good. And then when it just kicked into overdrive 1-1, automatically I sat up, And I was watching this, I was watching that, I was watching this, I was watching that. Ref gets bumped, this happens, that happens, they doing this, they doing that. And then I was on the edge of my couch right in the middle of it, and I was just like, oh my God, this match is insane. And it's like, and then 30 minutes have gone by, 40 minutes have gone by. And I was like, holy, are they going to go to a draw? Like, are they going to, drag this out? Like, are they going to actually go to a draw? Because I would have believed it. I would have been okay with a draw in that case because it was so good. The audience was going, FTR, the Briscoes, they were chanting "Fight Forever." They were chanting this wrestling. They were chanting ROH. Like the audience, they were all standing on their feet after 20 minutes. None of them. There wasn't this. I don't think you could see somebody sitting down in that crowd.
Yeah, the crowd was so weird that night. Like there were times where I felt like they were really up, and then there were times where I'm like, they're really down right now. Like. Trying to save their energy or whatever, but
yeah, during that
FTR match, I was like, you guys got to get up for this, and they did. They showed out for that one. So shout out to the people in Lowell.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was such a great match, and the finish, bro. The finish. Listen, there were a lot of kickouts in there, and I'm one of those people that I'm like, all right, that's too many kickouts in the match now. Cut it out. But when you get pile driven off the second rope, what do you say to that, bro?
Yeah, I was like, he's dead. It's over. Done.
Yeah, I was just like, count him. It's done. And I just thought it was so great. And I really thought Briscoes could have won it. Like when they did the shot with the bell, when Jay Briscoe, I think he hit Cash Wheeler in the head with the bell, I thought it was over. And I was like, I know they're not going to let the Briscoes turn heel right now and become the champs. And I got so afraid. They did a great job. The Briscoes have to be in that talk too for like S tier tag teams of this generation. Like when you talk about great tag team wrestling, AEW and ROH, whatever you want to call it, Tony Khan Promotions, whatever, they've got it on lock. Like they have the best tag teams in the world. You're not stopping them. Like they're just so great at it. That's one of their things that I think they should definitely use to their advantage and use for main events.
Yeah, and I mean even that one spot just came to me from that match too is when I think it was I can't remember who jumped up and did it, but they got him off the top rope and they slammed him into the table and the table just like shattered.
Cash Wheeler, dude, Mark Briscoe's head ate that. Oh
no, that was like the spear shot. I'm talking about when he jumped off when he leaped up and he pulled him off the top rope or the corner and he back
body dropped him, right?
Back
go back and watch Mark Briscoe's head. His head just clips it, and I'm like, that was terrible.
But there was that other time too, when who was it that went? Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm getting that mixed up. Pardon me, I'm getting that mixed up with Dragon Lee when Dragon Lee threw completely missed it. Missed it.
That defied the laws of physics.
His head went right to the table.
So how is someone sitting on a table? Someone dived on him and the whole table broke. How did that happen?
Yeah, but his head, I know, wrestling's choreographed. He hit here and he hit there, but from the angle, he completely missed Roosh.
Cared before him though.
But I mean, Roosh showed it well though. He was like, oh yeah, I totally got hit, even though I didn't. Right. But I was just like that table spot though. That Wheeler Good, it was just. That table shattered. It was just, oh man, it was just, there's so many good moments. And again, 40 some, it was almost 50 minutes. And I was just like, fight forever. I'm not done. I don't want this to end. I want it to end, but I don't want it to end. I don't want, I didn't know. I was enjoying it. I didn't care who won. And that's the best thing about any wrestling match is when I'm sitting there and I don't care who wins. Like if I go into the match thinking I really want this person to win, but by the end of it, I'm going, I don't really care who wins. Both people have shown that they deserve to be champions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or even if it's a grudge match with no champion, or no championship on the line, as long as both people go into that ring and show that they can freaking wrestle, I don't care. I really don't care. Give it to either man, or either woman. Whatever. But in this case scenario, that's why I didn't care if the Briscoes got it back. I didn't care if FTR retained. I mean, the only thing that promo that Dax cut on Dynamite about his daughter, man, that was hard. I mean, that was
got him a great T-shirt too. Good for sales. We didn't even talk about Jay Lethal Samoa Joe. I thought that was good.
Freak. Jeez, yeah, man, was.
And Yuta and Garcia, another Buffalo guy, Garcia. I thought that was a really good pure title match. With that one, they made me think like they're gonna go through all the rules, the rope breaks to teach people everything. Nope, one rope break, caught you, done. And I was like, that's technical wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia as well, because again, there's only so much time in a podcast, but I mean, and Samoa Joe and Jay Lethal absolutely killed it. Absolutely killed it, and the storyline that they had going with there. But Daniel Garcia is another one, just like we were mentioning with we mentioned Dante Martin and Moriarty earlier. He's another guy that people have to keep their eye on, because in a few years' time, he is gonna be huge. I think
he's gonna have a great match tomorrow.
Yeah, but it's Bryan Danielson
returning.
Yep. And again, Bryan Danielson's the only one on the BCC that doesn't have any gold.
Facts.
So it's like, whose gold is he coming for? Is he gonna go after Pac? I don't know, but So Ring of Honor as an event as a whole, I just wasn't bored. I wasn't, whether the audience was sitting down restoring their energy or whether they weren't into it or not. I sat there and I watched the full thing from start to finish. The pre-show too, the 4 matches they had on the pre-show were pretty decent as well. And yeah, a round of applause in my opinion.
Shout out to Prince Nana and the Embassy. I'm glad they're back. I love that old act in Ring of Honor. Part of my ignorance of a lot of Ring of Honor acts, but I'm learning, and I know some history from like years and years ago. But Prince Nana, because once when me and my wife were like, I probably said we were a couple years in on dating, I took her to a Ring of Honor show, and Prince Nana told her to sit down and shut up, and she was like, "Is he talking to me?" And I was like, "He is." He's like, "Girl, sit down and shut up." They were real animated. They would like yell at you and talk to you about stuff. And I'll never forget, Kenny King yelled at me one time. We were talking about like the Bills game that was happening at the time, and the Bills were terrible back then. And he was like, "You should be worried about me wrestling in this ring, and not worried about them stupid Bills." And I was like, he's got a point. And I just put the phone away. I was like, he's kind of right.
That's fantastic. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. And we got about probably 20 minutes or so left, and we could sit here for the next 10 years and talk about this really. But Vince McMahon retiring from WWE, and we know it's because of the allegations. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And the things that bothered me about this building up is when Vince McMahon came out, and he would come out on Monday Night Raw, he'd come out on SmackDown and say this, that, and forever and all that stuff, or say, "Hey, welcome to this," or "It's John Cena's going to be here," and then he'd just leave. And I was just like, this is all for promotional crap. And then when they threw Titus O'Neil out there, now I just want to briefly say something. Titus O'Neil has done amazing things around the world in the name of WWE, but the fact is he is doing a lot of work out there, a lot of good work. But the fact, when your boss tells you to do something, sometimes you got to do it, and there's not much choice you have. And when he came out, when Ross started off there, I think it was last week or the week before, maybe it was, I don't know. But when he came out, I smelled immediately something fishy. Immediately. And then he started talking about how WWE wasn't this, it wasn't divisive, it wasn't political, it wasn't religious. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? I've been watching you for 25 plus years. Don't you dare lie to my face. You are lying to my face. You are lying to your audience's face. And then when you sit there and then putting Titus O'Neil aside, when you sit there on commentary and Vince McMahon's telling Michael Cole in his ear to gaslight Sasha Banks and Naomi, I'm sitting there going, you assholes. They didn't disappoint millions of people around the planet. Don't you say that. No. Like, don't you put your backstage political crap out there on TV for everybody. You're speaking for them when you took away their voice. You don't, I don't care if you think you have a right to that. You don't, and it got really uncomfortable, and then allegedly Vince McMahon came backstage after he was done his promo. He was like, fuck him. Like, I don't know if that was towards the audience or if that was towards the people who are after him, but whatever it is, 77 years old, Vincent Kennedy McMahon is now gone. And in a sense, it wasn't very dignified. Like, he kind of, like, he lost a lot of dignity with the way he handled it, in my opinion.
Yeah. I really cannot agree more with what you said. I really think, I guess I'll get into the overall scheme of this. neither of us agree with what Vince McMahon has done in these allegations and in these situations. It's horrible. The stuff we've read is disgusting.
Yep.
And the way I feel about it is this. With Vince McMahon and his behavior as of recently, I feel like he didn't leave because he had to. He was forced to.
Yep.
And I just think that Vince McMahon he's brought entertainment to us, and there comes a day where you want people to sit down, but here's the problem. No matter how many suggestions we made, he was never going to listen at this point.
Yep.
It's like any sports team, and I always use this example, pardon my French to anyone who's listening, but you're not going to tell some old white man with a bunch of money how to run his team because he's already thought of it more than likely. He doesn't want to hear anything from anyone. You could be 1,000% right, but this dude's made billions of dollars. So in his mind, he's like, I'm always right. I always know what to do. It's an ego thing with him. And when I hear all of these stories now, I'm just starting to think, I'm like, it's all ego. And it makes you wonder how many of the stories in the past were more truthful than what Vince McMahon has thought of. Vince McMahon is the ultimate politician. He is very smart. This is the same guy who cried when WCW was beating him, and he was like, whoa, he would write these little sad letters and make himself the babyface in it, to use wrestling terms. Vince McMahon knows what he's doing. With Sasha Banks and Naomi, he got out there before they did. That's why he did that, because he wanted people to believe his side of the story.
Right.
Fast forward to now. The same thing happened with Brock Lesnar supposedly walking out. I believe the sources. And I didn't hear any, I'm disappointed in Brock Lesnar. Nobody read it or said it. And I get it, guys. Corey Graves, Pat McAfee, those guys are all just doing their job. And it's all according to the world of Vince. If Vince told them to say it, you better say it.
I'm actually kind of laughing just because my partner and I had this conversation. And I was like, to be fair, I mean, I don't think I would say that against Brock, even if I was paid to.
Well, I'm kind of crazy like Chris Jericho, and I always just feel like, well, there's no need to back down from someone. If I'm going to get beat down, I'm going to get beat down. So, like, what's it going to be?
I would never come out on national television to be like, oh, Brock Lesnar disappointed everybody. I'd be like, nope, you're not getting me to say that. I'll be killed by him. I'll be hanging out in his meat house. Like,
I just thought it was crazy what they ended up doing, and whatever. I guess it's okay for Brock to do it because he's a superstar. And supposedly Vince called him and told him to come back. Still, they were like telling Vince to talk to him.
Yeah,
I don't know what's true and what's not true. He's still the majority stockholder. Vince McMahon being gone from WWE is something I never thought I would see. I knew the day would come, but I always thought we were going to hear like Vince couldn't make it to the shows anymore for whatever the reason.
Like natural, organic, getting older reasons.
Yeah, like he can't walk as well, so he can't be going up and down stairs.
Right.
Or Vince is sick and he's in the hospital bed, but I still felt like he would write the shows from there. He would not care because he always put his heart into this. He built that company from when he purchased it from his father for $1 million in 1982. He's been synonymous with it since I was born. Before I was even thought of, truthfully. Like, I get it. So Vince McMahon has a legacy. He made a lot of us wrestling fans. He made a lot of us happy. We were talking about this before we went on air, but that doesn't excuse the things that he's done. Two things can be true at the same time. He's brought people happy. Yeah. He's done a lot of good things in the world. He's also done damage to a lot of people. He hurt a lot of people throughout this. He's made good decisions. He's made bad decisions. He's a person. I get it. And I think the best thing to do is look forward. What do we have to look forward to when it comes to that WWE? And I'm going to kick it back to you and let you set that up. It's your show. I'm going to let you hold it down. But that's the best thing I can say about Vince at this point. Like, disappointed in how he went out, disappointed in the things that he's done. And like I said, I still wonder what news is still coming out that we don't know yet, that he ended up having to leave. And I'm pretty sure it has to do with, we're starting to see, they're saying that some of the funds used for the hush money was technically company money, or it wasn't recorded, even though it benefited the company. So
yeah, we're getting the tax stuff there then, and then all of a sudden.
Yeah, I don't want to bust out my business degrees for it. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. But it's interesting to me, and I'm going to follow that story and just hear what happened. I heard he just had to sell some stock shares too, that he had to forfeit, them over. So there's a lot going for it. But looking forward, though, like, are you excited about what they're able to do, or what do you think?
Well, going forward, and I'm just going to backtrack first before I go forward, because I want to play off one thing that you said. I mean, and we all know Vince's ego. You know, you mentioned it. I know it. Millions of fans probably know it. I mean, I can't speak for millions of fans. I'm not going to pull a WWE here and go, you know, millions of fans know that Vince is this or that. No. I'm not going to speak for millions of fans around the world. That's not up to me. But what I am going to say is, from a person who has a psychology background, I have never seen somebody. Well, no, I've seen some people in the world, but he has one of the biggest egos I've ever seen, to the point that it wouldn't surprise me if he had narcissistic personality disorder. Because with everything that he has done and said over the years, it wouldn't surprise me if he was a narcissist. Because narcissists can be nice, but at the end of the day, their agenda is everything revolves around them. They're in control. They gaslight everybody else around them. They want their truth and only their truth. And that's it. And we've seen that for decades. So that's what I think overall. But at the end of the time, it doesn't matter what I think. but I have to shout to the memories before looking forward. Because it was my mom that got me into wrestling when I was a kid. She watched Vince McMahon in the 80s, you know, and she was a wrestling fan. She got me into wrestling. And, you know, she showed me how to, you know, to predict this and book that and to come up with this and that. And she got me right into WWE. I've been watching wrestling since I was like maybe 4 or 5, you know, watching on Saturdays, some WCW, some WWF. You know, whatever, you know, I had my Yokozunas, and you got your Sting, you know, I saw little bits of everything. And then I think it was when I was maybe 9, I think that's when I actually started to be able to watch a full episode of Raw, just because I had special privileges on, because it was Mondays, you know. And, you know, my mom was a fan of it, so we kind of watched it together at times. And eventually she went off and did her own thing, and she started not becoming a fan of WWE anymore, right? But she got me into it, and Vince McMahon is, you know, WWE is WWF and WCW was what got me into being a wrestling fan. Which came first, I can't remember. That was over 2 decades ago. But I remember loving Shawn Michaels. I remember Doink the Clown. I remember, you know, Brutus Beefcake and Doink the Clown and Sergeant Slaughter and all these other names like go on, you know, Macho Man, Randy Savage, Hulk, you know, but Hulk Hogan was big in the 80s, you know, he was kind of coming down in the 90s, but then there was Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels and Triple H and all these people, or Hunter Hearst Helmsley before he became that, and all of these people that I grew up with and watching and all the memories. Then we have your Stone Cold Vince McMahon feud. So there are probably thousands of positive memories from the WWF/WWE household name juggernaut system that it is, that are embedded into my head, that will always be there because of Vince McMahon's booking. So, or his creative team, whatever it was. So putting the Vince McMahon character, the man himself, I don't know a whole lot about because he is very private about his life. But the character on television has given us so much laughter, so much enjoyment, but at the same time, there's been a lot of bad too. But I just wanted to end there to say that, you know, there's one thing that I can say for the character itself, for all the memories that made me laugh, made me engaged, that all the wrestling matches and all the stories I saw ever since I was a kid, that part, I want to say thank you. Because I'm not going to, I know all the allegations against him are absolutely awful, and I'm not justifying any of them. Not one of them. But I can't sit here and pretend that I didn't see all that stuff in the past 20 years and had a good time going, and I'm not going to let those allegations destroy my happy memories of the past. Now, moving forward though, Triple H, Paul Levesque taking over creative. Now, is he now creative over NXT, SmackDown, and Raw?
I think so. There's a little bit of confusion. So Stephanie and Nick Khan are co-CEOs.
Right.
Kevin Dunn is still in charge of his little camera cuts because we saw that was still happening.
Not much longer.
You're probably right. Bruce Pritchard, someone else who I'm wondering, what is your role going to be? Is he going to stay creative? Are they going to put him in a spot that he hates, like talent relations? We'll have to do the wait and see with Bruce. I don't know where he fits in with this new regime. But Triple H being so he got announced on Friday that he was returning back to the role of talent relations, right? Or was it executive vice president of talent relations? I don't remember what the title is. They changed names and all that stuff, like they changed their underwear. So he has his title back, that he's in charge of NXT that he had previously. Cool, great. I'm happy for you, bro. And then he's announced as in charge of creative. I think that's a bad thing, personally.
Interesting.
I think he needs to pick one of the jobs, because if you have an issue with, okay, so I'm going to flip this so people can think about it this way. John Laurinaitis, that piece of trash that we shouldn't even mention on here. But he was talent relations before, right?
Yep.
Imagine if he had both jobs. He's also head of creative. So you have this guy who's being a creep, or you don't get along with him and he's not booking you well. Who are you supposed to go see? Talent relations, to go talk to him. If it's Triple H for both and someone's got an issue, there's no way to resolve the issue. It's over. It's done right then and there. You already know.
Yeah, I mean,
I think Triple H needs to give up one of those duties, and I feel like he's gonna bring back some of his friends in their regime. Maybe Sean's happy staying down in NXT in Florida. Cool, let Sean stay there. I could see Road Dogg possibly coming back. I could see Gabe Sapolsky possibly coming back. He's gonna need people to help these writers. And it's going to be interesting the next 6 to 12 months to see what his vision is. I would like Triple H to stay in the creative realm, but maybe he's going to see if it works. Maybe it doesn't work. I don't know. It's going to be quite interesting, but I do think he needs to give up one of those titles. And I wonder, how are Stephanie and Nick Khan going to get along? I feel like if you let Nick Khan run the business aspect of WWE, how to make the money, bring it in, and let Stephanie run kind of the wrestling aspect and the being the face of the organization as the McMahon, I think this could work. But you listen, we see how co-champions work in wrestling, right? Like sometimes it don't work.
There's two things for Triple H, one thing, or two things in the future that I would like. I mean, it's difficult for me to be hopeful for me enjoying the WWE product going forward, just because I've been now conditioned now for the past, how long it's been, I can't even remember, that I'm just like, even if something is exciting that's happening in WWE, I'm just like, okay, yeah, I might tune in, I just like, it's just there, I watch Raw every Monday. It's like a religion. I've watched Raw for so goddamn long, I might as well just keep watching. It's like one of them soap operas. You watch for so long, and even when it's bad, it's good. You know what I mean? Like, or even when it's bad, you're still watching. It's like, why do I watch this shit? But even with SmackDown, like, I'm not gonna stop watching SmackDown and Raw going forward. I don't think Triple H is gonna shy me away from it. But I would like to see WWE Raw and SmackDown shine like NXT Gold Brand used to, because I was really into that creative spark. But the question is, can Hunter balance it? Can Paul Levesque balance it with all three brands? And we'll see that as in the next year or so. I mean, I think there's still some plans in place. I mean, we did see a little bit of difference on Raw. I spotted a few things, and things felt a little bit more organic, less scripted, more bullet pointed. But I mean, I know at this point we know Roman Reigns definitely has some or majority creative control, because he can say whatever he wants, and the whole daddy thing was great. I laughed at that, but daddy's gone right now. When he said the theory, but that's the one thing that I hope that WWE gets back, is its spark. It's lost its spark for me. Now, if there's other people out there that have enjoyed a majority of everything, or that spark is still alive and strong in them when it comes to the WWE product, then that's fantastic. Honestly, don't let me crush your dreams or take that away from you. If you love it as much as I love other promotions, then by all means you win, and that's what matters. Don't I'm not a gatekeeper. I'm not going to sit here and tell you this and that. This is just my opinions. I'm ranting away just on this show like it describes.
Well, but I am a gatekeeper, and I'm here to tell all of you. I'm kidding. I'm absolutely kidding. But no, you're right about that though. Like, if someone enjoys it, like, enjoy it, man. Like that's do you, man? Pro wrestling's supposed to make you happy, not miserable all the time where you're just yelling about it on Twitter or into a microphone or with your friends. If you're that miserable, I would say turn it off.
Right. I mean, like I can sit there and watch Raw, and whether it's good or bad, it doesn't affect my sleep. I don't turn off Raw going, oh man, the rest of my night's gonna be crap, or tomorrow's gonna be shitty because Raw was bad, or whatever. You know, it's a show. I move on. After it's over, if it's good or bad, you know, I might walk away with a couple of thoughts or going, oh yeah, that this and that, but I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. I'm not gonna let it affect my day. I'm not gonna get stressed out. I don't know. You know, it's not a big thing. But the second thing of the future that I'm really terrified of, because I've already seen it, and I'm curious to know if other people have seen it. But ever since Nick Khan came out of the blue, about what, 5-6 years ago?
No, I would say less.
Less.
Yo, Nick Khan's story is crazy. Like if you look at it when he started.
All right. But this is my problem though. With Nick Khan coming in, ever since he's come in, the marketing for WWE has been out of control. The advertisements, the advertisements on commentary, the advertisements on commercials and this and that, it's more so down your throat than trying to shove Roman Reigns down your throat back in 2013. Like when The Rock came out and tried to make Roman Reigns, or 2014, whenever that was, at the Royal Rumble when he won, and The Rock had to come out because everybody was booing him. It's like the marketing of advertisements and catchphrases and all this crap. It's like, how many times are they going to say stupendous? You know, and all these, it's just so much marketing. There's too much marketing, and I've never seen it. And I know that's because of Nick Khan. And
it's always big on it too.
And I can't stand it. And it makes it more artificial. We know wrestling's choreographed. We know it's a show. We know it's set up. It's not the UFC. We're not sitting here pretending it is. But with these people are athletes, and they try to, you know, give you that disbelief. And when companies book things right, you can suspend that disbelief. But the marketing in WWE is unbelievably overwhelming. And I mean, I know we only have a few minutes left, but those are the two things I hope that get better, is if Triple H is able to balance things and WWE can get that spark back for me and many others if they have lost that spark, and the marketing take a little bit of a breather. You have all the money in the world. You don't need that much marketing anymore. Make the show a little bit more organic.
Yeah, and don't forget, like, everything's not going to change. There's still contracts for 3-hour Raws. Sweet Saudi money still exists. They're going to have to follow through and finish those up. And do they have to take the next deal? No. But they're going to do stuff that keeps the company alive. Remember, WWE is a corporation. It is its own person, per se. So they're going to have to take whatever the stockholders would want. And whatever's the best deal for them, they have to basically do it. I know that's not reassuring for people like, oh, but I want change. I think it's still going to come. I'm interested to see. I would like to revisit this with you maybe 6 months to a year from now and talk about this exact same thing and see how we're feeling.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was just agreeing with you. I was like, yeah, that would be really interesting. A very interesting conversation to have.
I also think I want to see what happens with Cody Rhodes is my first interesting thing. Like, I want to see, so within the next couple months, is Cody going to be forgotten about? Because you're going to have to push some new people and ascend some new people and establish, like, creatively, I know what I'm doing. You got Cody as your ace in the back pocket, so I'm hoping he's not forgotten about. But if people come up and they show what they can do, it could happen. I'm also interested to see if some of the people who lost their names, like, will Theory go back to being Austin Theory? Could Butch turn into Pete Dunne again? Like, Triple H knew what he liked in NXT. Maybe he can switch some of this stuff back and correct some of the wrongs.
Could Johnny Gargano come back and Tommaso Ciampa become DIY?
And you bring up some good points there, too. I wonder how many people from AEW now would be like, maybe I would come back now if he's really gone. But I think they're going to need to see more change still. I feel like we haven't seen enough yet, and it's only been a week.
Right.
So let's give it some time. But what I'm saying is I think you could get some people to say, you know what? I might go back there. Like Darby Allin said he would never go there because he was going to be stuck on 205 Live. And he made the right business move, in my opinion. Absolutely. But now, if Triple H is willing to change things and be different,
You never know, man. And also MJF as well, too. Is it a work? Is it a shoot? We don't know. But I think right there we'll wrap things up.
Yeah.
But thanks to everyone who continues to listen to the podcast. And if you want to hear your voice in here and rant away like Conrad and I do about wrestling like the rest of us, then simply send me a PM on any of my social media. And before I pimp mine out, tell everybody where they can find you, Conrad.
You guys can find me on most social media platforms at EPW Show, and you can find me on YouTube as Everything Pro Wrestling. That's what the EPW stands for. So make sure you guys give me a follow, subscribe, tell me you found me listening to Lotus Moon Productions.
I appreciate that, man. And yeah, it's always a good chat with you, Conrad. And you can find all of our socials at SoundCloud under Lotus Moon Productions, Facebook under Lotus Moon Productions, Twitter under Lotus Moon Prod, Lotus M Productions on Instagram for the music side of things, and you can even search us on YouTube under Lotus Moon Productions. How about that? With that, this has been LMP with Wrastlin Wrantz. Please be kind to one another, take care, and we are signing off.